On today's show, we'll introduce you to one of Oklahoma's most unique fishing events, the Youth World Bowfishing Tournament, held each summer at Fort Gibson Lake. We'll also travel down to Broken Bow Lake to learn some summertime crappie fishing tips. From the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation, Outdoor Oklahoma.
Hi everybody, welcome to Outdoor Oklahoma. The sights and sounds that you've been watching are of a very unique event held here in Oklahoma on Fort Gibson Reservoir. It's the Youth Bowfishing Championship, and we're going to take a closer look at that later in today's show, but I want to introduce Daniel Griffith. Daniel, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Rick.
Daniel, you're the coordinator of our Aquatic Resource Education program. Actually, that was my first job with the Wildlife Department a long time. I'm not going to tell you how long ago it was, but many moons ago. Daniel, we're here out at Arcadia Lake, which is a United States Army Corps of Engineers lake. We're really blessed here in Oklahoma to have a bunch of Corps lakes, and that has to be a reason, one of the contributing reasons why fishing is just so popular here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this lake's real close to Oklahoma City.
Right.
It provides a great opportunity for, urban areas to come out here and go fishing, boating access for fishing, either fishing with your boat or just fishing from the bank.
Right.
And of course, this is one of many Corps lakes we have all across the state, and obviously there's a couple other ones that you're going to be showing later on the show.
Yep, two other Corps lakes that we're going to be featuring. You've already seen the Youth Bowfishing Tournament that's held every year out at Fort Gibson Reservoir, and then later in today's show we're actually going to go on a crappie fishing trip down to Broken Bow Lake. But Daniel, we've been doing this aquatic education program for more than 20 years, but we've sort of made a recent sort of change in that. And basically we're emphasizing the program among state school systems. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we've transitioned. We do a lot of aquatic ed all across the state for either groups and some schools now even. Right. And we have opened the public clinics where people can come and, experience fishing, learn about it, start getting involved with it. But what we've noticed is, with the success we've had with our other educational programs, archery in the schools, putting hunter ed in schools, and explore bow hunting, now we're transitioning with that. Well, we have this aquatic ed program, let's just move it in there. So we kind of came up with this Oklahoma fishing in the schools, and these same teachers who've been having such huge success with these outdoor education programs in the classroom are just, we're certifying them, giving them the equipment, the rods and reels, and the tackle.
That's a great.
And they're doing it in the classroom.
That's a great deal, because I remember, up until this, getting the equipment, the borrowed equipment from the Wildlife Department, getting it out to people that wanted to do these clinics. At times it took a little bit of coordination and that kind of thing, but now we're actually purchasing these kits, we're giving them to these schools for them to use and take care of, and I think that's exciting, because we have so many ponds around Oklahoma that and there are some school systems that actually have a pond on their property. Probably not a whole lot, but there are some. But just about any community that you're in here in Oklahoma, there's going to be a pond, whether it's a public pond or maybe even a private farm pond nearby, that they can do the education part in the classroom, and then of course, go fishing. And take advantage of the weather too. That's always a dicey deal in Oklahoma, especially in the springtime. So if you the weather prevents you from fishing one day, then put it off until the the next day or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, exciting developments in the aquatic education program. We're actually going to take a closer look at one of your fishing kits a little bit later. But now let's go to Fort Gibson Reservoir that hosts the Youth Bowfishing Tournament. Any luck yet?
We're on Fort Gibson Lake, outside of Toppers. This is the 8th annual Youth World Bowfishing Championship. Behind me we have kids shooting 3D targets for the small kids or the kids that just doesn't bowfish. They can get a score that way. These kids here are having a blast today. Last year we had 390, and this year at 10 o'clock we had 187. So I don't know if we're going to pass last year, but we was well on the way to do that. It's a family outing, and the parents can be with the kids all day long. You know, they can go through them with everything here. They're there with they get a high from taking a good fish, or if they miss. I mean, they see all of it, and they see the reactions. That's what it's all about.
What you do is, like, when they're like shallow, you shoot like right at their stomach and it goes straight. But the more they go deeper, you aim lower.
Every foot deep they are, you aim about 4 foot under them.
This is our little motto.
So that arrow just kind of slides into them.
This is our little motto. If you think you're aiming low enough, aim lower.
That's it.
Yep.
That's
Nice shot, please.
Good job, baby.
She caught one.
Wow. Watch out.
Reel it in, baby.
Oh no, it just came off.
Does it count if you don't get it to the boat?
Nope, it's got to be weighed.
Randy Woodward started this years ago, and he approached all of us that bowfished with him, and there was about 10 of us volunteered to start this, and we've been hanging in there with him ever since. The excitement factor is there all day long. I mean, you're constantly seeing fish day and night time, and you know, it's all about the adrenaline rush for those kids and the excitement. And we got a lot of great lakes for bowfishing, and you know, it's just a matter of getting out there and finding where the fish are, you know. And we've got bowfishing websites and stuff, and we just had like 5 new guys that are about 18 join our little local site, and most of them are wanting to know where can they go, and you know, if there's anybody that can take them, that they're hooked on it, and they don't have a boat yet or anything like that.
It's pretty well known throughout the bowfishing community that they had this tournament here every year. It's one of the real good tournaments they put on. It's real good for the kids to get them started off in the sport and everything. Lots of great prizes and lots of fun.
Okay. Who shot a fish already this morning? You did? What kind was it?
We don't know. They didn't pull them in.
We don't know.
Don't know. Okay. Have you seen many fish?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you missed a lot?
Yes.
You're not supposed to miss a lot.
I got between 55 and 60 volunteers here now, which a lot of them are firefighters that I've worked with in the past, like cooking the chicken and the fish and all this up here. But without those guys, we couldn't do this.
Well, we are back at Lake Arcadia. I'm with Daniel Griffith again, and I want to thank the folks there at the Youth Bowfishing Tournament. In particular, the Coweta Fire Department is very involved in that tournament and does a lot of the behind-the-scenes work, and I want to give them a little bit of credit for that. Well, Daniel, this is the Fishing in the Schools kit, and of course, a lot of people who've ever gone through a fishing clinic in Oklahoma would recognize this Sport Fish of Oklahoma poster. This is not only a neat poster, but this is a pretty big time teaching tool.
Yeah, we use that obviously for fish identification.
Right.
Shows all the major sport fish that people are after here in Oklahoma.
Yeah, and gives all the neat information about where these fish live and everything on the back side of the poster. The fishing rods, how many fishing rods does each kit have?
Each school or each kit comes with 25 rods and reels.
Okay.
So, and then, you know, they're brand new. When a school starts off with it, they get brand new rods and reels. This is a new set right here. They'll also get 5 pairs of just clippers, because obviously you're going to be cutting line, either tying hooks on or breaking when get that big fish that breaks off the line.
Yeah, hopefully.
And then also they come with 5 pairs of needle nose pliers, catching a lot of sunfish.
And those even float.
Yeah, and these supposedly float. I haven't tested them, but they are pretty nice, little neat thing to have, because obviously getting out of the sunfish mouth. And then also we got hand towels. Obviously, you're going to be handling slimy fish. You want to be able to keep your hands clean. And but they get 10 of those, 5 of the pliers, 5 of the clippers, and then they come with a little soft-sided tackle box. And then here's some other goodies. They got, obviously, before they go fishing, some practice plugs to practice, maybe either in the gym. You know, maybe it's archery day and they got some time they can practice, and then a little knot tying kit.
Oh, perfect.
So, and it's got real hooks in there that we've taken the points off, so these kids are doing it in school. They don't have to worry about poking themselves. And then also you got your tackle, weights, and then there's some hooks in here too.
If they take pretty good care of it, it ought to last for years and years.
Yep.
We're going to learn more about the Fishing in the Schools program a little later, but now let's take a break and find out what's happening in your outdoors with this week's Outdoor News Report. And when we return, we're going to be going down to Broken Bow Lake and joining Mike Virgin and his son Ray, sharing some summertime crappie fishing tips.
We're going to be trying to catch some crappie. It's late July. The water is 80-something degrees probably at surface temperature. We'll be catching them probably 20 feet deep. We've got brush piles that I've sunk at different locations, and we're going to be using minnows and jigs and spoons. We're going to try to show you how to catch some fish using that technique, fishing straight up and down. So with a little luck here in a minute, we'll maybe show you some crappie. My wife always fishes with minnows, and some days I'll catch 3 to her 1 using a spoon, and then some days I can't get a bite on a spoon. And when that happens, I'll switch over and use a minnow.
I bet you catch some on them before the day's over.
Oh, I bet I do.
So is this 6-pound line, or?
I think what I've got on here is 10-pound.
I'm using 8.
And the main reason is because a lot of times you'll catch a channel cat when you're fishing for crappie, and if you don't have your drag set and a line that'll control him, he's going to take all your stuff away from you. I've got a big pile of cedars. Actually, I took, I believe it was 3 or 4 big cedars and tied them onto this tree where they would hang vertical, and that way as the water level went up and down, the fish could come up to their comfort zone wherever it was at. Yeah, I can see your line shaking.
A lot of brush down there.
If you don't get in the brush, you're not going to catch them, but then they'll
tangled you up quite often too.
Well, he's putting it on me today.
About like normal, ain't it, Dad?
No, I believe last time I won.
Well.
How deep would you say you're catching these?
Right around 20 feet.
Well, they don't seem to be in here very thick, so I think we need to move on to another spot. It's one of my favorite things I use for crappie. It's an 1/8 ounce spoon. I use the same thing in the wintertime when I'm fishing in deep water, except I use a 1/2 ounce. But the crappie seem to like them. This particular one here's chrome colored. The gold ones work well also, especially if it's a little cloudy. We'll see if we can get one interested here. Well, it's getting about close to lunchtime. I'm thinking about going in and frying some of those crappie up. It's been a little slower than it normally is. Could be the high pressure or something. Who knows, some days you catch a lot, some days you catch less, but we've done pretty well. We've probably caught 20 crappie up here in a couple hours. And for the middle of July and 100 degrees, it's not that bad. So I'm pretty well satisfied with it.
How about you?
Any day that I'm on Broken Bow Lake's a good day for me.
We are back here at Lake Arcadia, and Daniel, watching these guys catch the crappie there at Broken Bow has got me thinking about maybe doing that right out here.
Yeah, there's some pretty good crappie in Arcadia.
For sure, for sure. I want to thank Mike Virgin. He's one of our law enforcement district chiefs in southeast Oklahoma, and I want to thank his son as well for sharing those summertime crappie fishing tips. But Daniel, let's talk a little bit about the training. How long does it take say to teach or train the school teachers to implement the fishing in the schools? Is that an elaborate deal, or?
No, it's, I mean, basically, usually we'll tag team it. I'll work with either, you know, Justin Marshall, or even I've worked with you in the past where we've done explore bow hunting and fishing in the schools on the same day, and they don't have to come do both of them. They just come do one or the other. But basically, it's usually kind of a half-day deal. We just kind of do the same thing we do with our volunteers, where it's a 3 or 4 hour deal. Talk to them about the program, give them, you know, show them what kind of materials and stuff they're going to get, how they can do it. I mean, obviously these are teachers. I'm not having to teach them how to teach. Just explain to them what kind of resources they're going to have and how they can get those.
We provide them a curriculum, and they're very, very adept at reading that and infusing that as they see fit,
as
they see fit, and to the level of their students and so forth. Well, that's great information. Let's talk a little bit about the fishing opportunities, the pond. Now, it's not necessary that a school has to own a pond. I mean, it's great if they do, but that's probably not very many school systems in the state. But what do they need to be thinking about in terms of the fishing? If they don't have a pond, what do they need to look for?
Well, they obviously need to look for a pond that has a lot of bank access.
Right.
And the bank access is going to be depending on how many people are taking. Some of these schools that are doing it are taking, you know, maybe 25 kids, but some of them may be loaning some equipment from me and maybe taking 100 kids.
Okay.
So maybe taking bigger groups. But bank access is key, because if you don't have bank access on a pond or even a body of water, there's no point. You can't fish from the bank. But also, the key thing you're looking for on bank's access is not having a very steep slope and not having any trees or structure around there, because a tree, you know, you and I are experienced anglers. I've fished numerous times next to a tree, or even been on a boat under a tree fishing. Right. But we're talking kids that are first time fishing. You're going to get a lot of lines, hooks, eventually a bunch of bobbers hanging from a tree, and it looks like a Christmas tree with bobbers by the end of it.
So really, I guess the more manicured, you know, if it's mowed and the more open the bank access is, really the better. And fish population, you know, I guess sunfish is the
as long as there's sunfish there for them to catch, you know, they're not going to be big, but trust me, if it's their first fish, anything they can get on the hook is key. And we're not talking about, you know, advanced fishing. All they need, you know, we're giving them hooks, and all they have to go is buy a little box of night crawlers and put those on the hooks, and they're good to go. Good to go.
Well, good information, and folks, hope you enjoyed today's show. Hope you got some summertime crappie fishing tips, and for those of you enjoyed the bow fishing, give that a try, because that's a great sport. I want to thank you for coming on today's show, Daniel, and thank you for watching. Join us here each and every week on Outdoor Oklahoma.